Hey there, everybody. Chief Meteorologist Tim Buckley from WFMY in Greensboro here today, and we're talking all about things up in the sky, up in space on weather impact today. We, of course, have the Perseid meteor shower coming up later on this evening. I'm joined, of course, by Brittany Van Voorhees in Charlotte at WCNC, but we're also joined by Amy Sayle here from the Morehead Planetarium at UNC. Thanks for joining us today for the program.
Thank you.
And so I think we want to just get right into it. What is it that makes this meteor shower? Because folks in the public, they might see a lot of stuff on the internet. They might hear a lot of stories throughout the calendar year. What is it that makes this meteor shower in particular a little bit more stay up worthy, a little bit better than the other ones that kind of come and go throughout the year?
The Perseid meteor shower is arguably the most popular meteor shower of the year for a good reason. It's a good, reliable shower, lots of meteors. It's famous for producing fireballs, which are the really bright meteors that can rival Venus level in brightness. And they happen during the warmer summer months when lots of people are taking vacations, maybe camping, so it can be a convenient time to go do some meteor viewing.
What are people actually seeing when they see the streak of light cross the sky? I saw the interview that you did with Vanessa during our regular newscast, and I think it was interesting. You were talking about what they're seeing, but also what they might need to look out for that they could get tricked by.
Right. Yes. And I forgot to mention another thing you can get tricked by, which is fireflies. I confidently identified a firefly once as a meteor on a paddle under the stars. Very embarrassing. But yeah, so what's happening is that these usually little bits of debris can be the size of a grain of sand that's been left over by a comet will hit our atmosphere really fast and basically vaporize and end up creating this streak of light that goes across the sky, usually pretty fast. Usually fast enough that by the time, your friend says, ooh, and you turn and look, you've missed it. And then things not to mistake it for are satellites or airplanes. So those are going to move more deliberately across the sky, maybe even take a few minutes. And the way to tell satellite from airplane is that airplanes will often look like they're flashing or they have red or green light.
I think that's really good advice. If it's blinking, right, it's probably not a meteor. That's always a good thing. And when I'm looking at them, it's almost like you can never be almost sure that you saw one until it's gone. It's there and then it's already kind of passed you by. Is there any truth to the sense, Amy, that you want to let your eyes adjust? I've heard that it's a good idea to kind of get out there, kind of be a little patient, give yourself a few minutes. Is there truth to the fact that you want to give your eyes some time to adjust to the darkness outside?
Yes. Your eyes need 20 to 30 minutes to fully adapt to the darkness. So meteor watching rewards patience. So you want to find as dark a side as you can. Take advantage of the fact that it's new moon right now, which means there's no moonlight to wash out the dimmer meteors. So don't let light pollution wash out too many either. If possible, try to get to a dark site. Let your eyes adapt. Also, the meteors can come in clumps. So minutes can go by with nothing at all, and then there'll be 2 or 3 almost right at once. And I would like to add, actually, for people who are going out earlier in the evening, more 10 p.m., trying to see some meteors, you won't see as many as if you go out after midnight, but you are more likely to see what's called the earth grazers, these slow, long, dramatic ones that you might actually, when your friend goes, ooh, you turn and look, and it's actually still going. So sometimes they do last a little bit longer.
Why do sometimes meteor showers almost look like the meteors are popping up almost out of nowhere and they're exploding, and then they kind of seem like they're leaving a trail? Does it have to do with the fact that they're leftover dust, or is there some other scientific component?
So, right. So you're referring, I think, to bolides, which are those really bright fireball meteors that can actually look like they're exploding because stuff is exploding in the atmosphere. So there's going to be generally larger pieces of stuff striking pretty fast. And if you see one of those, wow, that's amazing. I'm always satisfied if I just see a little dim streak. And we should mention they're called the Perseids because they appear to radiate away from the part of the sky that's in the direction of the constellation Perseus. So if you trace them all back, if it's a Perseid meteor, it will have appeared to come from that area. But you do not need to know how to identify Perseus to see the meteors. They can appear anywhere in the sky, usually and anywhere near an urban area. I just advise people to look at the darkest part of their sky.
I think that kind of answers one of my questions. So if a lot of our viewers, they might live, in the Triad area or in the Charlotte area, if you're in town, you just want to look away from town is probably your best advice. Like you're saying, just find that darker spot. And you mentioned the best time would be after midnight. So maybe later is better. If there's an absolute best time, what would it be?
I'd say between 2 and 5 in the morning. So you don't want to go so late that it's starting to get light from the approaching sunrise. But the issue is that you want the radiant, the Perseus, to rise higher in the sky. It's going to be higher in the sky the closer you get towards dawn. You're on the leading side of Earth as it's moving through space. So an analogy would be, it's like, if you think of Earth as like a car driving down a highway, when you're after midnight, you're looking out the front windshield of a rainstorm, and before midnight, you're looking more out the back windshield. So you're gonna sweep up more meteors when you're looking out the front. So that's why, if you wanna see the most, you're gonna wanna stay up past midnight.
This might be a very specific question for Charlotte, but I feel, because I live very close to Uptown, which is essentially downtown Charlotte, like there's no place where there's not light pollution. Like it feels impossible. Like every time Brad gets lucky and catches, the aurora, from the station, I am always walking out of my apartment like, what the heck? So are there things that if you live close to the city that you can do, maybe like finding a special spot like a park, like something like that doesn't have as many lights? Or are you like, if you really want to see it, Brittany, you need to go down to Anson County, which is like a more rural county, like 2 counties away? Like, are there ways to get around the light pollution? Because I just, again, I don't know if I'd ever see one, no matter how hard I try.
Yeah, it's, if you're able to go to a dark site, that's ideal. But that said, if you're willing to adjust your expectations and stay out long enough, you do have a shot at seeing the brighter meteors. And what I would recommend is just make sure that you're not looking like right at a street light. Like, try to get somewhere where you can at least get any unshielded lights blocked by trees or buildings. Put your back to the brightest things that might be blocking your view, and give it a shot. You might still see something. And I think if you see one, you can call that a success. Actually, I always think if you just go out and enjoy nature at night, you've done something right.
Yeah, I think that's good advice. If you see one, that's a success. And usually if you see one, you'll find another one just within like a minute or two sometimes. I think I have one last question. Sometimes people, or I've seen this just a few times, they might find a green tint to it. You might have already answered this, but just to kind of recap, what would make these things appear green sometimes instead of just like that neutral white light?
It just depends on the chemical makeup of the meteoroid, the thing in space that's interacting with the atmosphere and with the stuff in the atmosphere as well. And there's just characteristic colors associated with different elements.
All right, Amy Sayle, thanks so much for joining us and telling us where to look. We're going to find the darkest part of the sky. We're going to try and stay up as late as we can, and hopefully lots of people can catch the meteors. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks,
All right,
Dr. Sayle.
Thank you.
All right, take care. Brittany, it's a pretty cool day, right? We had the eclipse earlier, and now we've got the meteor shower coming up later on this evening. It's one of those days you just kind of want to look up at the sky. So to